semi-final day has a flavour all of its own, and good afternoon to those of you at home, many of you who are able to fully savour it with us this occasion with the crowd inside Villa Park on a very sunny day. At the far end we've got some Liverpool supporters and some from Crystal Palace, who in fact have only sold 16,000 of their 18,000 allocation. That's because they sold to members only at Selhurst Park. So if you see any empty seats throughout the 90 minutes, that's the reason why. Well, the team news then first, and let's start by looking at Crystal Palace, because Steve Coppell didn't really have very much choice. 6 members of his first-team squad are injured, including striker Ian Wright. Although John Salako wears the number 10 shirt, he may not play as a central striker. I think Steve's got a formation in mind that will unfold when the game gets underway. But Gary O'Reilly plays at centre-half because Jeff Hopkins is still injured. Now, as for Liverpool, Kenny Dalglish has, as expected, restored Peter Beardsley to the starting lineup. He was left out in midweek, and his other major decision concerned the fullback positions, and the vote has gone to Gary Gillespie wearing number 4 and David Burrows wearing number 3. So Barry Venison and Steve Staunton are both unlucky in the sense that they're on the bench, and Steve Nicol is still injured. Kenny Dalglish and Steve Coppell shaking hands before the start. And that's Thomas forward straight away for Palace, just testing Burrows. And it looks to me as if Salako is going to play over on the left for Crystal Palace, and it may be Phil Barber that's up with Mark Bright. That looks like the early formation. I'll get a word from Terry in a moment on that as we work out exactly what the tactics are. That's Jeff Thomas. Here's Pardew with McMahon. Thomas again. And Gary Gillespie gets forward menacingly for Liverpool. Surrounded by red shirts, but he almost found a way through. That was Andy Thorne. Terry.
Well, I see immediately, I think they're going to play 3 at the back. Shaw will join O'Reilly and Thorne at the back, and they're pushing in tight on the wide players. They're marking across the midfield very tight, and they're going to play Andy Gray up front with Bright and Barber pushing on the left, so they're going to play it as tight as they possibly can.
Yes, with John Pemberton, the number 2, detailed to mark John Barnes by the look of it also. Here's Hussein. There's Gray, but it's a foul. So Gray will push up when he can to support Bright, and so too will Barber. But as far as central strikers are concerned, Mark Bright having to plough something of a lone furrow, I would think. Here's Burrows. Russian Beardsley in the middle, so is Barnes. Ray Houghton pulling at the back. Didn't quite middle that. For that, but Whelan certainly did. Here's Barnes. And that's Pardew, just covering for Palace.
I think the surprise of the tactics, John, is not that Pemberton's marking Barnes, but Salako, who usually plays up front, is playing left side against Ray Allen.
That's right. Steve Coppell, I know, was giving this a lot of thought overnight, what he was going to do with his formation. And that's the way it's looking, and we'll see if it does the trick for the outsiders. Liverpool team, of course, packed with big match experience, nobody more so than Hansen here. And Glenn Hussein, who would love to play in an FA Cup final. He tells us he's watched it every year back at home in Sweden. Television. And here's a man who's played in one, Andy Thorne. He was in the Wimbledon side that beat Liverpool 2 years ago, and he's an important figure at the back today for Crystal Palace. This is Richard Shaw. And it's Pemberton. So Hansen bringing the ball out from the back, and Burrows has made the run. Liverpool have got plenty of players forward again, and Rush sneaking in.
This is a terrific move there. Barnes is tight mark, just run away and took Pemberton off the line and left the space down the left-hand side for Burrows to come into quite easily. This is what they've got to be careful of.
Now, it's a full-time job for Pemberton this afternoon, but I know he was looking forward to it. He's not short of confidence, the right back of Crystal Palace. Here's McMahon. Pardew. And McMahon intercepting. Rush going to the left now. Onside, Ian Rush. Liverpool take the lead. And Ian Rush, the ace goal scorer, once again makes it look so easy. Palace never recovered from Pardew losing the ball in midfield to McMahon. And the penetrating pass found out the Palace defence. McMahon, who got the ball from the Palace player Pardew, slide rule ball, isn't it? They're looking for an offside, it never came, and as Nigel Martin narrowed the angle, Rush just jogged the ball past him with his left foot. And that's a moment of Liverpool history, because Ian Rush, with that goal, now becomes the second highest scorer in the history of the club. It's his 241st senior goal for Liverpool, and now only Roger Hunt has more.
Well, it'll be very interesting, John, now to see how they go about the game from now on. They've coped fairly well, actually, until now, and they've looked as if they've coped for most things. It was a very risky thing to do to try and play offside in that position. I didn't think it was necessary. He could have just run with him. He was going away from goal. But nevertheless, it was a great finish.
Yes, it had Ian Rush written all over it, that, didn't it? This is Barnes. So the favourites take the lead. Here's Whelan. And Barnes sneaking in here. This time there is an offside flag. So after a quarter of an hour, Ian Rush, with his 32nd goal in the FA Cup alone, puts Kenny Dalglish's side in charge in this semi-final. There's a minute left in the first half, so there is quite a long way to go. And as you rightly said, Terry, Palace haven't folded after that goal. They've had a decent share of the proceedings territorially. Here's Pardew. Thomas. Thorne. And Mark Bright's the target here. Hussein's header out, then Hansen. Appeals for handball against McMahon, but Palace have possession. Thorne. He's looking for Thomas. Barber. Against Houghton. Now it's Salako. Attacking the right-hand flank, but again, the ball in by Salako wasn't a good enough quality to trouble Liverpool.
They seem to be getting, especially Salako, seems to be getting good crossing positions with space, and he doesn't seem to be able to clear the first defender. He's getting no height on his crosses at all.
That's what's made it frustrating for Mark Bright, really, because he's been taking up a reasonable position in there, but
that's right, yeah. It seems O'Reilly, funny enough, seems to be dealing at this moment in time anyway with Barnes better than he was with Ian Rush. And of course Liverpool now don't have the same threat down the left-hand side as when Barnes has come from there.
Here is Barnes in his new role, and there is O'Reilly at his back, forcing him to play it to Hansen. It was Burrows who was well forward there. Thomas, a bit tight maybe for Barber. So we're in time added on for stoppages at the end of the first half in this first FA Cup semi-final of the day. It's Barber. Expected shouts from Palace supporters who thought that Mark Bright might find a way through. The gate was shut in his face there. draws to a close, with Liverpool, the holders and favourites, leading in this FA Cup semi-final. A goal scored on 15 minutes by Ian Rush, which puts Kenny Dalglish in good heart, although Rush's injury soon afterwards meant a substitution. But the man who made the goal with a precise pass from midfield was Steve McMahon, and it's that moment really which separates the two teams, and that alone at half-time, as in this bright sunshine they go back to their dressing rooms with the score: Liverpool 1, Crystal Palace 0. Well, let's see what Palace can do about it now in the second half as they attack the Holt end here at Villa Park. John Pemberton, a lovely run early on, and a chance for Barber, and Venison, and it's a shot, and it's there by Bright. It's Mark Bright, straight from the kick-off. After John Solako's shot didn't quite get there, Bright certainly did, and Palace are level. What a dramatic start to the second half, and Liverpool are stunned. Well, it was John Pemberton here who takes so much credit. It was an inspired run. The cross met first of all by Venison, then Solako off target, but Mark Bright hammers that left-footed into the unguarded goal. Well, what a start to the second half for Crystal Palace. They are level and Steve Coppell is back in business. When the play dies down, Terry, I'll get your reaction, but the way Palace have started the half, I'm not quite sure what's going to happen next. Here's Beardsley. But here come Palace with Thomas, and on the far side, Mark Bright's there again. Andy Gray's in the middle this time, so is Thomas. And there's Thomas! Oh, and Grobbelaar grabbed it on the line! An extraordinary 60 seconds. First, Liverpool nearly made an opening, and then Mark Bright, with a surging run down the right, got a beautiful ball in, and it's Andy Gray who beats the defender, and what a good save. Grobbelaar, so athletic on his line, and made a save there that could just have tipped the scales in this cup tie. We'll have to wait and see how significant it proves. Sure, Nigel Martin would have admired it from the other end. Bright still giving Hansen some difficulties. Gray. Oh, what a good back heel. John Pemberton, I think, taken by surprise, but he's fought so well to win it back. Now McMahon for Liverpool. Forward by Staunton. O'Reilly is with Barnes. Free kick, and George Courtney wants a word. It's Ronnie Whelan who's in trouble. So Liverpool in front after a quarter of an hour. Palace level within a minute of the second half starting. 1-1 in the semi-final. Palace with the free kick. It's Hussain. We've been playing 20 minutes now in the second half. This is Pardew for Palace. Barnes picks it up from Beardsley. Look at McMahon in space. It's McMahon for Liverpool. Forward run. Nigel Martin doing precisely the right thing, getting out the full 18 yards to block Steve McMahon. And here Palace were really opened up. Beardsley into Barnes. McMahon is starting his run now. Nobody with him, and Martin is there to make a very telling save. So both goalkeepers have now excelled themselves in this very exciting period of play. McMahon from midfield was unchecked there with the run. Oh, will we be having extra time, I wonder? Nearly halfway through the second half, one each. Hansen for Liverpool. Oh, Pemberton again. Hansen got a second chance to find Staunton. And now Barnes, onside. Houghton and Beardsley making runs to his right. Good block by Andy Thorne, who was covering O'Reilly. This is Hansen. Whelan. Oh, good play by Barnes. Whelan!
The last 5 or 10 minutes, John, looks like Liverpool are picking it up a bit more and they're getting back into the game. From now on, there should be more spaces appearing, and that's the sort of opportunity that Liverpool like to take advantage of.
Andy Gray. That was David Burrows who he collided with. Well, certainly the painful memory of that 9-0 defeat now wiped from Steve Coppell's mind as Crystal Palace hold Liverpool in this semi-final. Indeed, have taken the game to them for much of this second half. But as Terry Venables says, Liverpool showing in the last 5 minutes that there's a resilient edge to them that we know all about. Beardsley to Barnes. And the Flair players beginning to get into the game a bit now. Barnes and Beardsley. Forcing Andy Thorne across. Barnes back to Burrows.
See what I mean there, John? They're getting so close that every time the ball is passed, a foot's just appearing.
Barnes. And there were 3 of them round in there. This is Gray. Thomas. McMahon. Good tackle. Free kick. Quickly taken. Barnes. John Pemberton who made the goal. That's a foul. Alan Hansen on Mark Bright. And free kick to Palace, which puts them in a bit of danger. They've got Gary O'Reilly, I know, just going forward to help Bright in there. And now they've waved Andy Thorne up as well. Andy Gray has placed the ball. That's his cross. And Bright's there. O'Reilly's there! And Palace! Are they in front? Yes, they are! Liverpool stood there and could really not believe it. And Gary O'Reilly from the back found room in the penalty area. And from the set play, which people felt would be a Palace strength, or maybe a Liverpool weakness, O'Reilly drives the ball past Grobbelaar, and just for a moment the whole crowd seemed to freeze. But it was a good goal, and it's 2-1 Palace. Venison looking for Beardsley. Well, Liverpool have really got to fight for their lives now, haven't they? It's a free kick. Salako on Houghton. 10 minutes to go, and trouble here for Palace, possibly. Mark Bright has gone back to help them defend. Barnes, Whelan and Hussain waiting to come in a line of 3 as Staunton and Venison address the ball. Staunton to Venison. Right across the goal, McMahon! Oh, it's there! It's 2-2! Steve McMahon! So, the Well, it was too, how they worked that. Venison's low drill cross. It comes out to Steve McMahon, and that's a fabulous shot. 2-2.
Well, it was a first-class finish. They just got caught napping there, Crystal Palace, on a free kick. It was had a lot of invention in it.
No chance for Nigel Martin. That was as true as an arrow from Steve McMahon. Barry Venison, the substitute, who provided the cross from a cleverly worked free kick. And as they used to say in Bill Shankly's time and since, you never rule Liverpool out. And with 10 minutes to go, it's all square again. But what a semi-final. Where do we go from here? Extra time, perhaps?
I don't know where we're going, but I'm certainly enjoying it, John.
Well, you, I think, Terry, 40,000 inside the ground and millions at home. What a football match. Beardsley. Oh, look at this. Staunton. Penalty. Pemberton on Staunton. George Courtney has pointed the spot, and Pemberton is distraught. Well, I'm not sure about that from here. Staunton is in the box, there's no doubt about that. But was he pushed? Well, the referee couldn't have been closer, could he? You couldn't fault George Courtney's positioning, and somebody has said too much. Poor John Pemberton is now being booked as well. And in a matter of a couple of minutes, the whole scene here has changed. Steve Staunton was the player who went down. Liverpool have been given a penalty from which they've had mixed luck this season. They've missed a few, they've scored a few. But now the £1 million goalkeeper, Nigel Martin, has to face John Barnes. The Palace players are talking to Barnes. I'm not sure what's being said. George Courtney has booked Pemberton. He's given the penalty kick. And the cup holders could strengthen their grip on the trophy here. Barnes scores. The goalkeeper went the right way, but the kick was true in the corner. And Liverpool lead by 3 goals to 2. And from being 2-1 up, Palace are suddenly dumped on their backsides and can't really believe what's happened to them. Most of all, Pemberton.
Well, it's an incredible turnaround in just 2 or 3 minutes. And to be fair, it looked like Liverpool wasn't going to do it. And they got that very good free kick, and now they're in front.
We've got a slight problem here as well with people on the pitch, you know, Terry. I mean, defences have come down. We all know the reasons for that. But after the last 2 goals, there have been people in celebration, I have to say, not misbehaving, but it's something which in the present climate, the FA are going to have to look at. I'm not trying to take anything away from the joy of the occasion, in which Liverpool lead 3-2. After being 2-1 down, it almost seems like half a second ago. I never thought we'd get a game like this, did you?
No, but I must say, earlier in the game when Crystal Palace was getting up the back 4, they didn't look comfortable at all, Liverpool. And certainly, I know that Liverpool's going to take the game to them, but I think they've just settled back into their first half type of game and not thrown people forward.
Just over 3 minutes, Liverpool 3, Crystal Palace 2, in one of the most exciting semi-finals, or certainly the second half, that I can remember. And the emotions on the bench, well, they must feel they've been on a roller coaster ride over there. Steve Coppell is standing. His team were 10 minutes away from Wembley, let it be said. They're now less than 3 minutes away from going out. Thomas, and Bright's in there. And Thomas! Staunton, Gray! Gray, 3-3! Andy Gray for Palace, they're back in it! And Liverpool's defence all over the place. It's a free kick again, a set play, and keep your eye on number 4, Andy Gray, because when all this is over, Grobbelaar comes, doesn't make it, Thomas, Staunton, Gray, 3-3. Well, Grobbelaar did punch it, but not far enough, only to Jeff Thomas, and it span up off Staunton's chest. The man who actually got the penalty for Liverpool has now virtually delivered the pass for Steve Coppell's team to equalise. 2 minutes to go. Liverpool 3, Crystal Palace 3, and this one is going down in semi-final folklore. Barnes. Again. And it's still John Barnes, and well stopped by Martin because Beardsley was right in for the rebound.
John, I think this might bring the fans back.
Well, I think if we had more football like this, more excitement like this, it would generate even more of an increase at the great which we're having at the moment anyway. It's great stuff, isn't it? And the armchair audience must be on the edge of their seats too. Here's Bright. Foul by Hansen, is it? Yes. Now, twice from free kicks, Palace have scored. Liverpool have also scored from one, of course, but what sort of a finish could we be in for here? There is a minute to go of the 90. Father will take the kick. Thorne, O'Reilly and Bright are all lined up. Bright, has it gone straight in? No, it isn't a goal. It's a free kick. Time beckons now. But hold on, a free kick again. So once more, O'Reilly and Thorne take up their positions. And once again, Gray prepares to bend the ball in.
Stood still there, just didn't even move at all there, John.
It's amazing, isn't it, this? Against the crossbar in the dying seconds. Andy Gray to take the corner. Stoppage time. Bobolar struggling again. Flags up though, he was fouled.
They put so many men in there, and there's so many men of Liverpool trying to combat against them, and he's trying to come out amongst those players, and he's finding it very difficult.
Well, this was more difficulties from a free kick against the crossbar. That's a good header and very unlucky. And his team could have been knocked out there right at the end. What a dramatic climax that would have been if it had been 4-3. And my word, he would have been celebrating then, wouldn't he? They've given Liverpool untold trouble from free kicks. I think we'll need to see all the goals again just to remind ourselves what's happened. Here's Hussein, but what we have got is extra time. Well, just wondering how you describe that second half. It started with Liverpool leading 1-0. Steve Coppell's team got back into it straight away. Then they led 2-1. Then they were 3-2 down. Then they got back to 3-3. And then they hit the bar. That's the best summary I can offer you at the moment, because I think Terry Venables and I are going to try and get our breath back. Quite amazing what happened in that second half. I don't think the players have managed to catch up with it yet themselves. The game has swung one way and then the other. And Palace looked to be on their way to Wembley, then they looked out of it, then suddenly they were back in it. And as you saw there, that header from Andy Thorne that clipped the crossbar could have made all the difference. This is Thomas. Ian Rush put Liverpool ahead after 15 minutes. Mark Bright equalised, first minute of the second half. Gary O'Reilly made it 2-1 to Palace with 20 minutes of the 90 to go. And here's Shaw. They were 8 minutes away from Wembley at that stage, Palace. Steve McMahon equalised for Liverpool, 2-2. Barnes with a penalty put them 3-2 up with 6 minutes to go, and they were nearly at Wembley. And then 2 minutes from the end of that exciting period, Andy Gray came along to make it 3-3, which is why we're in extra time, and EastEnders has been delayed. But it's on the way, and so is Manchester United Oldham. O'Reilly. Oh, difficulties here for Palace. Barnes Well won back by Thomas. Gray. This is Barber. Pardew now. Three waiting in the centre for a cross for Palace. Salako provides it. Thomas in there. Robilard's missed it! Isn't it? No, the whistle's already gone. Glenn Hussein, I think, must have been fouled. Alan Hansel, it put the ball in his own net in the end. I don't know whether I've got that right, Terry, but it seemed as though he did. But maybe he'd heard the whistle. It was given for a push, because Glenn Hussein went down. Three minutes left in the first period of extra time, and 3 goals apiece. Number 3, Burrows. Venison getting well forward now, looks for Barnes at centre forward, which is where he's really played since Rush went off. And there's McMahon, and we've got Houghton's on the far side, goes down. George Courtney has a look and doesn't give anything. And Andy Thorne covered for Nigel Martin very effectively. Well, Houghton was sniffing for the 4th goal there for Liverpool. Barnes. Still so tricky. Houghton's in there too. Barnes again. Side netting.
Well, I think Liverpool look to be lifting it up a bit now. 5 minutes, as I said, the space is appearing and they're passing the border better at the moment. And they're making the chances.
Well, it's the first year that we've had the opportunity to cover the 2 FA Cup semi-finals live. And what a match this is to launch such a day. Andy Gray for Crystal Palace. Tiredness is beginning to creep in now. Even 1 or 2 of the challengers are looking a bit laboured. Because the match has been played at full pelt and there's been so much incident and excitement that it's probably drained the players emotionally as well as physically, I would have thought.
I think they're certainly slowing down now, John. But who knows?
We're into the last minute of the first period of extra time here at Villa Park. This is Bright for Palace, Venison for Liverpool. Here's Barnes. Oh, and there goes Houghton. Pursued by Salako, who's had to do much of a defensive job today. Barnes again, he's really in the thick of it, John Barnes now. Venison, offside flags up. Well, coming up to the end of the first period of extra time, Terry, it looks as if it's almost, compared to what went before, it's now a tight game again.
So I think Barnes, as you say, in the last 10-15 minutes, is having his best spell now. He's getting a lot of the ball and he's enjoying himself.
Bright, Hussein, Gray. So the end of the first period of extra time. Steve Coppell has a quick word with Phil Barber. So the second period of extra time, and Liverpool, Terry, the team that are said to have the great stamina and resilience in situations like this.
Well, I think it's not even one of that. It's a one of, as I said, I think it's the passing now to make the other team run even more.
Well, it's certainly pulling at the nerve ends, this one, isn't it? This is Barnes. Oh, good trickery. And he's right in on the keeper here. In the end, Andy Thorne got a foot to it. Corner. Ray Houghton's gone across to take it.
Once he's inside the 18-yard box, John Barnes now is looking to hold on to that ball and really frighten the opposition.
Well, Barnes and Beardsley and Hussain are all waiting. And Barnes comes in first. That's Venison. Barnes looks as though he might have come back from offside. Staunton. Houghton. Corner again to Liverpool. They're forcing the issue at the start of this final 15 minutes. That was quite a comfortable catch for Nigel Martin. Looks as though he's really enjoyed the game, the Palace goalkeeper, and I suppose it's one that the players will look back on and say, well, it was something to be part of, but of course not if you lose. And it's a shame in a way that there will have to be a loser at the end of this semi-final. If not today, on Wednesday night perhaps. Here's Pemberton. Beardsley. Barnes to his right. Houghton down the middle. Barnes looking threatening. Shaw blocked it. Pemberton gave the ball away carelessly, probably out of tiredness, to Houghton. Outside him is McMahon here. Three waiting for a cross. And McMahon curls one, drifting away from the far post. Thorne. Well, it was perhaps asking too much for the extra time to live up to the expectations after the 45 minutes we had before that. Forward by Thorne, looking for Bright. Hussain is with him. Tried to turn inside in corner to Palace. Well, they've made such good use of their set plays, Crystal Palace, that you wouldn't rule them out now. Andy Gray has gone across to take it. Andy Thorne, who hit the bar in, what, the last minute, was it, of normal time? He's gone up again, number 6. Gary O'Reilly, who scored from that sort of position, from a free kick, is also there. Barber's on the line, and Bright is waiting too. Thorne flicked it on, and it's gone in! Pardew! 4-3 Palace! The flick on by Andy Thorne made all the difference. And Liverpool are caught out again in a set play, and it looks like Alan Pardew who bundled it in. Thorne flicks it on, and somewhere out the crowd came Pardew. Bruce Grobbelaar beaten again after, what, 2 free kicks and a corner now Steve Coppell's team had scored from, and it's back with the underdog again. Well, whether that got a touch off a defender as well, I'm not quite sure. It could have done. There were 3 of them in the crowd.
Just when they was beginning to put some good play together, Liverpool, they just lose one set piece again, and they just can't seem to handle it today.
Well, let's not speak too soon, anybody, now, because free kick again. John Barnes on the ball. What on earth is going to... There's now Palace players arguing with each other in the wall, pushing each other about. 4-3 to Palace, and Barnes to take a free kick for Liverpool. They haven't gone back 10 yards. Barnes curls it! Oh, wasn't perhaps quite as far away from Martin as I suspected it might be. Seven goals in a semi-final. Benison. Palace fans singing. Well, I don't know about you, Terry. I feel as drained as they must feel.
Good news for those at home who don't like football. There's another match coming up with them, isn't there?
On by Whelan. Barnes is still hovering dangerously in the centre-forward position. It's really academic now, but I suppose in the light of cool appraisal, somebody will wonder what would have happened if Rush hadn't been injured. As it is, there are 5 minutes to go in this highly charged semi-final with so much to talk about and look back on. And who's to say it's over yet? O'Reilly, McMahon. Palace have really got to keep their nerve now and not dive in and do anything silly. Staunton. It went over Glenn Hussein's head, but this is Houghton, there's danger. Barnes! Oh, and Nigel Martin! Well, that save might have been worth £1 million, you never know. From John Barnes' downward header when he looked odds on to score. Ray Houghton delivers the cross. Barnes heads it down, back towards where Martin was coming from, and the keeper was grateful. Bright is trying to stay onside here. Andy Gray's going on a charge, and Alan Hansen steps in. 4 minutes of extra time left. 4-3 Crystal Palace lead. Thomas. Header by Hussein. Oh, Beardsley seemed to push Shaw there. Doesn't matter anyway. So much animation there, look at it. Forward by Jeff Thomas, offside Mark Bright, the man who really triggered all the excitement by scoring in the opening minutes of the second half of normal time. Three minutes we have left now. Well, I suppose one's tempted to say, can Manchester United and Oldham follow this? I'm sure they'll do their best. Look where Bruce Grobbelaar is. Well out, isn't he? That's how desperate the situation is for Liverpool at the moment. We have a break in play because John Pemberton has gone down, Terry. Now, do you see a last-minute dramatic recovery by Liverpool and this man or not?
Well, you can't rule it out. I don't think so. I think that Crystal Palace are on the way.
Well, it's your old club. You were with them the last time they got to a semi-final, 1976. And this man must be thinking now, goodness me, how close we are, against all the odds in many ways. We make it 2 minutes, plus any time that George Courtney now adds on for this injury. And I'm certain we haven't got too many viewers who've not been part of the whole of this, but if we have, Pemberton was injured in that challenge, by the way. Just let me remind you that Ian Rush put Liverpool ahead and went off injured. Goals by Bright and O'Reilly made it 2-1 to Palace. McMahon and Barnes for Liverpool turned it round at 3-2. Gray equalised to make it 3-3, and Pardew's goal in extra time has made it 4-3. McMahon. Beardsley. Oh, a dangerous ball by Venison, and Nigel Martin had to come and claim that as Ray Houghton steamed in. There's a minute to go at Villa Park. Crystal Palace are that close to Wembley, to putting out the holders and the favourites Liverpool, to destroying the dream of the double. Can they hold on? The crowd booming with noise from Palace supporters. Look where Glenn Hussein's playing now, centre forward. McMahon. Good challenge actually, that by John Salako, who's... no, he can't go back. Bright's up there. Puts it on, and has to run after Hansen. (4-3) to Crystal Palace. Coming up to the end of extra time, Jeff Thomas getting tangled up with Ronnie Whelan, shouts at George Courtney, gets nothing. On by Hussein. Barnes, there's danger here. Turns it in, but there's not now. We are up to the end of the 30 minutes extra time. It's only a question of what George Courtney, the World Cup referee, decides to add on for stoppages. Bright on his own up there for Palace. We are on the verge of a real turn-up here. Andy Thorne battling away. And Jeff Thomas. McMahon. Andy Gray. And Bright's made a curving run to stay onside. That was brilliant, actually, this stage of the game. He's got Barber in the middle, but he'll want to try and hold it up if he can. Well, I don't condone time wasting, but in Palace's situation, you can forgive it today, can't you? After all we've been through here. The referee has given the goal kick. He's looked across at his linesman. He's checked his watch again. George Courtney. Everybody's looking at him. When will he blow? Crystal Palace 4, Liverpool 3, and Crystal Palace are at Wembley. They've beaten Liverpool, whose dream of the double is destroyed, in one of the most amazing matches, surely, in the recent history of the FA Cup. Steve Coppell runs off, and the Palace supporters celebrate one of the most unexpected and dramatic victories that I can remember happening, certainly at this stage of the competition. Alan Pardew is the man whose name comes out of nowhere, the former Yeovil player. His goal has sent Crystal Palace to Wembley, and the final score at a thrilled Villa Park after extra time is Crystal Palace 4, Liverpool 3.